to a Dreamcast near you.
Hey guys, well today I'm gonna be looking at something special, that being Half-Life for Dreamcast. So it's not gonna have to do anything with Mortal Kombat, it's just Half-Life is just basically one of the games that I'm really fond of, and has been one of the games that has really drawn me into playing games on the computer, on consoles at all. Now, Half-Life was groundbreaking at the time it was released in 1998, and but it was only available on PC. I believe around 1998 or 1999 the Dreamcast was launched, and actually Half-Life was supposed to be released on the Dreamcast. Now, the reason I'm making this review is that basically this game has never been released on the Dreamcast at all. It has apparently been finished, but wasn't released commercially due to the failing of the Dreamcast at that time. Sierra and Valve basically pulled the plug from the project, and they didn't release it from the Dreamcast, but went on to port the Half-Life game over to PlayStation 2 instead. So what we have here is basically a leaked version of Half-Life. Now, this isn't anything new. This has been out there on the internet since years. What was new to me was, in terms of Dreamcast, is that a couple of months ago Dreamcast fan did go back and had a look at the files that basically Half-Life on the Dreamcast used, and make the revamped version of it, which in the end resulted in a much smoother frame rates, better loading times, which hopefully you will see throughout this video. First of all, this is basically the main logo, or main, I wouldn't call this menu, but this is just the title screen, and then we get up to the menu screen, and remember, all we see here is basically unreleased stuff, so this is like a beta version. Now, the jumping screen is just due to my TV adjusting the picture size, and I'm playing this through an actual Dreamcast. So this is the main menu. Here we basically got options. You can customize the controls here, audio settings, and this one is pretty cool. You can enter several codes here in terms of I don't know, selecting levels, or enabling God mode, infinite ammunition and stuff like that. And all you have to do is just basically put together the three code words. It's very easy. Like one teaches physics, which is unforeseen consequences level. Then you just go into the select codes screen, and if I want, I can activate the level select here, and then when I start the game, I start it up from here right away. Now let's go back a second into the controls. Now, what's interesting about the controls is that the Dreamcast controller has basically only one analog stick. I don't know how much you can see that in the video, and nowadays for any first-person shooter that we play, usually on Xbox or PS3 or PS4, requires two analog sticks, and I don't know why they used it like this on the Dreamcast, so going around with just one analog stick. Maybe it was just something remaining like from the Sega Saturn area when they had the 3D controller. Anyway, this results in that you will have to use the actual buttons for movements and the left analog stick for basically aiming the crosshair. So if you're playing with the controller, I suggest you reduce the x-axis sensitivity down to somewhat about this level, otherwise it's gonna be a bit funny. So you just go back, and I'm just gonna actually start up the game. Let's have a look how it looks. And oh yeah, the really cool thing is that the disc includes Half-Life and Blue Shift as well. The Blue Shift was an exclusive add-on being made for Dreamcast, which due to the cancelled Dreamcast port was never released in this form. It got later ported to, or released to PC, but that was about it. Blue Shift or Opposing Force wasn't available on PS2 either, or the original Xbox. So what we'll basically just do is we'll just start up a game. Let's see how things are there. So I'm just gonna pick Half-Life, and then as usual you will have to select the difficulty. I'm just gonna go with the normal setting. Like I said, this isn't commercial release, just a leaked beta version, but for beta it's basically 100% playable. All the levels are there, all the content is there basically, and you can actually play through it, so which is really nice. Okay, the introduction is pretty much the same as in the PC version, so the original one, and I must say that it looks pretty damn good on the Dreamcast. So resolution is a bit lower, or seems a bit lower on this TV, but I'm now playing on a big screen. So back on the older TVs, this with the scan lines, you know, this would have looked just fine. In terms of frame rates, I can't recall. Oh yeah, this is just the loading screen. They are occurring just as the same way as the PC version does the loading, but you know, these seem to be taking much longer. But you know, it's not that bad actually. And like I said, the port that I'm using right now for the version is a revamped version, so loading times are much faster than the originally leaked Half-Life Gold version. So it's actually really a shame that this never got released to the Dreamcast. I'm a huge Dreamcast fan, so I'm one of the guys that's, you know, still waiting for Dreamcast 2. I think it has been one of the greatest consoles ever released, and you know, in terms of the games and the ideas that were, you know, brought forward with this machine, it's just really something that you don't see nowadays with Xbox and PlayStation titles, where you usually see big budget titles. I'm not saying that the Dreamcast titles weren't big budget, but still you had a sense that, you know, the developers were trying to experiment with sort of things, new things, and you know, it was, you know, opening up a lot of ideas, I think, back then in terms of games that were on it. So it was games for the more casual players, but you don't have those things anymore, unfortunately. So going back to the game, it actually does look fabulous. So Christmas week is coming up, and I will definitely be doing a playthrough on the Dreamcast version of it in my spare time, if my wife doesn't kill me. But all in all, it's just I don't know. I mean, you ask yourself, why would you want to play this version if you can, play a much better version on the PC, or have the PlayStation 2 port. This is basically for me a piece of history. I mean, Half-Life is one of the greatest games ever released. There are really a couple of games that I regard in this respect in terms of first person shooters. The very first choice would be Doom. Then for me came Half-Life, and then recently in the past couple of years I get really hooked up on Halo, and nothing else came close to these three, and especially Half-Life is the one that brings back a lot of memories to me. In 1998 I would have been around 17 years old when this was out. Internet was very limited or hardly accessible over here, so you had to go out and find out stuff in the game for yourself, especially how to play it, how to solve the puzzles, which nowadays might seem pretty easy, but back then this stuff was really groundbreaking. I mean, it wasn't anything like the rest of the first-person shooters out there. You were in a big open world, or which at least felt like an open world. Very detailed, story-driven adventure, and yet the narration and story wasn't just given to your face right away. You had to keep attention to the NPCs or what was going on in the background. So, and it's just really an amazing game of the time, and an all-time classic. And here's Mr. G, man, along with the scientist. So anyway, coming back to the Dreamcast port, which, like I said, unfortunately wasn't released. I'm really impressed. Like I said, frame rates are great, although I've experienced some issues later on in terms of the frame rate when there are multiple enemies, but it's not that bad that it would render the game unplayable. Loading times, I mean, yeah, loadings do happen, but it's just the same as with the PC version. But loading takes a bit longer from the disc, especially with this version. So if you are interested in Half-Life for the Dreamcast, I would suggest you go to www.theisazone.com, search for Half-Life Dreamcast. You will find several images being uploaded there, and the one you want to download has a proper phrase in the description, and this is basically that was released a couple of months ago by some genius, basically who recompiled everything, and it's really working out great. So anyway, I'm just gonna do the first section of the game just to showcase how it goes, and then I will be loading up one of the later levels to see how that goes when there's more action on screen. So thinking back at Half-Life, I mean, this is one of the games that I pick up like every year and play through it from beginning to the end, along with the expansions. I only used to do that on PC and PlayStation 2 so far, but I'm gonna be doing that now, actually, the Dreamcast version as well. And I'm really drawn into retro gaming lately, and I mean, I don't even have GTA 5 at the moment. First of all, because I think I wouldn't have the time, you know, to play with it, and actually, the money I have available for gaming is nowadays usually spent instead of new titles on old titles. So picking up SNES games, PlayStation 1. Recently I started collecting PlayStation 2, original Xbox stuff, and I just found a guy on the net who's doing some really neat covers from old titles. So I'm definitely going to get a proper case and cover for this Dreamcast version as well. Anyway, going back to the game, let's just see where we have all the gimmicks here, like with the PC version. So anyway, I'm just gonna skip ahead a bit. Okay, I'm just gonna put on more volume to the TV. Sounds a bit more louder. So basically, I pretty much knew the whole original PC version by heart, and from what I've seen so far, the Dreamcast version is pretty much identical to it. As far as I read on the internet, there are some areas that are, you know, reimagined, reinvented for the Dreamcast version, probably with less polygons and maybe, you know, smaller areas just to have the frame rate. But I can say it's pretty much identical to the PC version, and actually controls are not that bad. So although it's first it definitely feels a bit weird. Let's just see whether we have the microwave gimmick. Oh yeah. Oops. Oh, thank you. Anyway, let's go ahead and get that HEV suit. It should be around here in the back. Yep. I mean, the great thing about this sport is that it just feels so new, if you can say that. I mean, just because, you know, it's something that has great sentimental power to me, value to me. Like, you know, I'm just gonna turn it down a bit. Once the music kicks in, it's quite a bit louder. So I really can't wait, you know, playing through the whole thing throughout the next week and see how it plays out. It just feels great, and I really can't understand why they pulled the plug behind this project. I mean, they had the whole game basically ready and ported to the Dreamcast around 2000. You know, Dreamcast was doing just fine at the beginning, but after PlayStation 2 released it, you know, it just couldn't hold itself, and oh, there we are, G-Man again. And unfortunately it got ditched. There were you know, not that many games produced on it, and it basically lost the race against the PlayStation 2, unfortunately. But
my God, what are you doing?
okay, let's just go. Just fooling around. So anyway, we're just heading around the very first section of the game.
You got the wrong airlock, Mr. Freeman. You know I can't let you.
Oh shit! I thought I had to come this way, but bad memories. Okay, so I need to go back down here. I have to go through the loading again and then take it on the left side. So anyway, going back to Dreamcast version. I've been playing this for about half a day, on and off. You know, frame rates are sometimes an issue in terms of, you know, having lots of enemies on the screen. Actually, I'm just gonna go back to the title screen and load up something that's got a bit more action going on. Just gonna load up my current progress. So office complex, and yep, let's just do this. So like I said, frame rates can drop down when there are a lot of enemies and explosions and stuff going on the screen, but it's not like that the game is unplayable. So I've seen worse. I mean, it's like sometimes it's like Killzone on PlayStation 2. If you happen to have played that one, it also has sometimes jerky frame rates, but overall the game is playable and still fun.
Luck has to change sooner or later.
And I don't really mind it on this one. So this is basically the office complex part, and I already have acquired grenade, crowbar, pistol, and the lovely shotgun. The shotgun was really awesome in this one. I mean, just took the cake for me. And I can't remember which way I was supposed to go. I believe it's this route. And I'm just gonna have this guy follow me.
We might stand a better chance if we team up.
Anyway, graphically, I mean, it looks pretty amazing. So, and it does prove that Dreamcast was up to being able to make really good games in terms of FPS games. I mean, you also had Quake-free Unreal Tournament on this one. As you can see now, frame rates are a bit more jittery, but hey, that's what shot me. Not that bad. And surprisingly, the aiming, I mean, it feels quite a bit odd to, especially for a right-handed guy, to steer the cursor with the left analog stick, but you can get used to it. It's not that bad. After about 5 or 10 minutes, it just feels completely natural. And I read on the internet and a couple of reviews I saw, people were complaining that this is only playable with the Dreamcast controller and mouse. But then again, if you do that, you might just as well play the PlayStation PC version right away. So I think this is meant to be with the controller, and the controller does just a fine job with it, so I don't have an issue. It's definitely more challenging to aim sometimes, but it's not that bad. So in overall, apart from the control and loading times and frame rate jittering sometimes, it's not a bad port. So I mean, if you are a Dreamcast fan or an old school Half-Life fan, I would definitely suggest getting it. It's for free, especially if you have a Dreamcast, and especially Dreamcast nowadays you can get it for like $10 on the internet, so it's very cheap. If you don't have a Dreamcast already, I suggest you buy one, get one, because this thing is amazing, and the amount of games and especially the quality of games is just really great stuff. Oh, I took some damage. No, I lost quite a bit of health, but I think there's supposed to be a healing station nearby. I'm just gonna let the security guy take care of the head crabs, and let's just see. Oh, I remember, I need to start up this one. Okay. I just need to get back up and get over there, and it's not farther after this section when we get the We Got Hostiles chapter, which was, I think, the thing that really dropped everybody's jaw when they were playing Half-Life in terms of, you know, fighting against those military guys. And back in those days you have never had such a smart AI as you would see in this game, basically. Just wasting a lot of bullets. Oops. I just need to keep interrupting the recording because on my camera, for some reason, the HD quality recording is limited to 9 minutes, but so I'm gonna have to do it in sections. So I don't know how much space I have on the memory card, but I'm just gonna keep doing it until I'm running out of space. And let's just get the crowbar. I mean, it's really not that bad in terms of controls. So PlayStation 2 definitely easier to control, but you can get used to this, and I mean, it's a lot of fun, especially if you are a Dreamcast fan. So it's really a shame that this wasn't released. I think it would have lengthened the lifetime of the Dreamcast a bit, especially if this one had, you know, multiplayer available. By the way, this beta version doesn't have any multiplayer support. As far as I know, they were planning to release it later on, and which unfortunately never happened because they cancelled the title. Okay, let's just grab this one. Oh, and we do have some ammunition over here, but as far as I can remember, in terms of the PC version, you know, everything is pretty much the same. So it seems like a straight port in terms of content over to the Dreamcast. Okay, just go back to the shotgun. And okay, which way? Anyway, having this now on my old Dreamcast is like, you know, finding God. I mean, this is just pure nostalgia for me, and like I said in the beginning, this game is basically a piece of history. You know, fun factor is only raised by the fact that it got never released, and it's like sort of like a guilty pleasure, you know, playing something like this. It's like you would get a new version of Mortal Kombat 2 or Mortal Kombat 1 that has never been released in the arcades, and you know, nobody saw it previously. I mean, it's that kind of thing to me. It's really great, and you know, that's the kind of thing I'm sort of missing in nowadays games. It's I don't feel connected to most of today's titles at all, like I used to care about these ones. I mean, this is 15 years old now, and it's still a lot of fun playing it, and I will still play this over Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, 3. I mean, single player wise, those games were, you know, pretty annoying games, so had nothing in it. And it's funny to look back that a game in 1998 had more to it than a game released nowadays with that incredible budget that they are now spending on games. I mean, just sidestepping for a second in terms of Modern Warfare. Sure, the game looks awesome, but it's like, you know, it's like a rail shooter. You don't have to solve any puzzles, you just have to kill anybody on the level. and that's about it. No thinking at all required. Whereas in this game, I mean, there are some pretty good puzzles put into the game, which you didn't really have prior to this in first-person shooters. And playing through this game, you truly felt like you were in a unique world. And for at least me, I mean, I know a lot of gamers were just sucked into the experience. And now I'm gonna have to jump over here. Now the annoying thing about the Dreamcast version is that there is no quick save, so I would have to save here if I wanted to avoid getting killed, but I'm just gonna risk jumping over there and not falling down. Okay, that poor fellow's gonna come down, and then we will have our way out. So if I could say one shortcoming that this game has is basically the lack of quick saving function, which should have been really helpful. PlayStation 2 version had that. And also with regards to the saving on this game. Oh shit! Haha, I just killed myself. Okay, so just see. I'm gonna have to go back and I just want to show some more gameplay, and I'm just basically going to activate some of the cheats and do some level skipping. I've saved down the codes onto my mobile, so let's just see. Soldiers visit Black Mesa. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Soldiers visit Black Mesa. This is going to be the We've Got Hostiles section. Hey, this one's supposed to be valid. Let me just check that again. Oh, there are two visit. Soldiers visit Black Mesa. Okay, We've Got Hostiles. And since I'm skipping ahead, I'm gonna need some firepower as well, because I'm gonna be Gordon ignore explosives. This should be giving me all of the weapons in the game, which is going to come in quite handy. Gordon ignore explosives. Oh yeah. Then all we need to do is just go back to the select codes section and lock and load. Cool. And activate the hostiles. Again, I'm going to just go with the normal setting. And then here we go. If I think back on the Half-Life series, I mean 1 and 2, most people seem to regard Half-Life 2 as being the better one, but I think that game was only technically better. At least they didn't try to remake the first one with the second one, but for me it just wasn't that immersive as the original appearance. Cheats are now in effect, so I'm just going to get my weapons, and as you can see, in the original PC version I believe you had an MP5 submachine gun, which they later replaced with an M16. and that's what I have here. And oh, one more thing that I completely forgot to mention about this Dreamcast version. I'm really just going around without any proper order. Is that oh shit? The Dreamcast version actually has pretty nice models in terms of all of the models got updated compared to the original PC version. These are supposed to be high definition models, and these were basically later released with the later revisions on PC as well, and with blue shift. Opposing Force would already have increase on its own in terms of better textures. I'm just gonna go back and load on some more energy. And here we go. So this was a chapter basically that introduced the military commandos to the player, which I think up to this day one of the greatest adversaries that you could face in terms of first-person shooters. I mean, the AI that they had was just incredible at that time. None of the games had that. They were taking cover, tossing grenades at you, regrouping, running away, and it seemed like they were they were trying to coordinate with each other to get this. So it was really something special. These things just keep spawning. So anyway, we should be getting up to the soldier section, soldier encounter, pretty early on, and I really like the way they introduced the military in this one. They were supposed to be coming to save people trapped here in Black Mesa, but it wasn't the case. As per the story, they were meant to wipe out anybody who was associated with the original experience, which is really cool because at first when I encountered them, I was expecting to oh shit. Now you can see that aiming is not that easy, but you can get used to it. Okay, just switch back to the Magnum, take care of that, and we were supposed to have another one standing over here, so I'm just gonna be tossing a grenade to that one. Which apparently missed. These headcrabs were really annoying back then. They were so small to target and jumping around, but nevertheless cool stuff. So okay, we were almost at the section where we will be introduced to the soldiers basically. So anyway, going back to Dreamcast praising or Dreamcast aspect of the game. This is really something special, and hold on, just have to take out the guns first. Oh shit, I should have blown this up. Now I'm trapped here, so I can't get out, so I'm gonna have to time my jumping very well. Otherwise I'm gonna be getting killed. Oh shit, there's another one. And I don't know how much you can hear it from the background, but you can already hear the soldiers squatting around. And oh yeah, that's the spot. So.
Rescued at last. Thank God you're here.
And this is really where I mean, the whole game was interesting already at that time when I was playing this originally, but this is when things really kicked off and got really cool. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I'm just gonna wrap it up with some firefight. So that's about it. So all I can say, if you have a Dreamcast, there's no excuse not to download and get this game for you. If you don't have a Dreamcast and are interested in all versions of Half-Life, I would definitely recommend getting this one, especially given the status of not being released at all. So see you guys next time with more Mortal Kombat related stuff, I would say.